From SheNature.com, this is Mark Josie. Today I would like to show you some budget paintball marker, very realistic looking and cool looking markers, modified to a bit more cool. So the first thing I want to show you is Spyder Hammer 7 with double mag. So this thing is pretty cool. First of all, I want to tell you guys that I do not shoot paint, so there's no paint here. I only shoot hard rubber balls, bricker balls, solid rounds, stuff like that, okay? So I tune my markers to high power and like to shoot in high power. So the highest power for these guns is not very high, okay? For this Hammer 7 here, with CO2, is shooting at about 19 joules max, and it will go low to 16 joules. Pump action, very affordable, about 100 bucks. The mags, they are very cheap to, like, compared to the other ones. So you just take it out and flip it around just like a Satan mag, and you can go again. So 9 rounds per magazine, and basically with my settings right now, you get only 2 mags of shot and your CO2 is done. So right here you see a RAV4 12 gram CO2 charger. Basically what it does is hold one 12 gram CO2 inside, screws it onto your gun ASA, and basically it gas up the gun. So I tried it already, okay? So 112 gram CO2 gives you only 2 mags of shot and at this power. So you can basically shoot 18 rounds like that, okay? 9 and then flip over and 9. Very cool. So it looks pretty tactical like that with a UTG red and green dot sight inside right here. Okay, you can basically turn it on, shoot like that. Pretty cool. So in my opinion right now, this thing is pretty much it. Like, you cannot go higher power, it cannot go hotter. So basically I think that at this point 19 joules max, 18 to 16 joules lowest, that's pretty good, and the shot is very stable too. So I would say that that's it for this setup for now. And if I find any more powerful setup, I'll tell you in the future. With HPA, you really need to play with the adjustment a lot to get this kind of power. Highest power I get with HPA is about 18 joules with a tank that is regulated to 1200 psi output. So not very good with HPA, but with CO2, this gun performs very well. The next one up is the most interesting one today. It's a Spyder MR5. Okay, this is the Spyder MR5. And then now you're like, hey, where's that hose? That's right, there's no hose. Okay? Usually you see a hose running down here all the way to the grip, and this is where your tank goes. It's very ugly, right? So you don't like that hose, just like I do. So I don't like the hose, right? So now the hose is hidden. And you can see from here, it looks very much like one of the M4 kind of thing, very CQB setup right now, especially with my clones Surefire M900 light right here, like that. Okay, so here the gun, you can operate it with or without the stock. Okay, you can take the stock off and have a very compact rifle, or you can have the stock on. It's optional. It's not mandatory. Right here is where I store my air source. Basically what I did was I twist the airline all the way here, same airline, okay, that it came with. It's not a new line, same airline, and then right here it cannot go all the way on the rail. So what I did is I took a offset rail mount for flashlight, and so it's going to extend that thing a little bit lower, which is just where this thing can go. So I screw that on, and now I put a 2x 12 gram CO2 tube right here. So this is the thing by RAV4. You can basically put 2 CO2 inside back to back, and you get 2 CO2 here. So with 2 CO2 at high power, you get like 3 mags of shot, and the CO2 gets very cold. So basically 3 mags of shot, I would say. That's pretty good enough, okay? So 3 mags or 4 mags, whatever, okay? About that kind of shot count. And so basically after that, what you do is you unscrew the thing, dump your CO2, put 2 more in, and then you can screw in the new CO2 again. Right now this thing mounts very, very solidly, and it's just like a FN303 with the tank on the side. So this one, it doesn't even affect your sight at all, and it doesn't affect your grip, and so it's your mag release. Okay, so you can still operate the gun freely. And one good thing is because it doesn't have the hose, okay, right here, you can change hand like that and nothing is blocking your way. So it becomes more of a very realistic looking marker. Right here is the Magpul, Magpul. So that's the poles. Okay, you can put one on and it's extremely cool. With UTG rail covers, very rubbery. So with those rail covers, what it does is when you hold the gun like this, okay, your hand is not on the rails. And everyone with like these guns, you know, right? Because the rails are not plastic, they're metal with sharp edges. So when you hold it, if you don't have the rail cover, it's going to scratch your hand and you'll feel like awful. So right now, with this position, I can hold the gun like this and not feel any metal rails fucking my hand up. And especially with this position, see, a rail cover here, you will save my hand from being scratched too. Okay? So it's very important to have rail covers. Also for the top, the reason why I put it is because when you hold the gun like that, you don't have to touch the rail. That's really important because when you have to hold the gun and then you start to feel all the rail and scratching your hand, it just puts your mood off. So, like that, very cool. Okay, so a red dot sight, co-witness with the Tiberius arm flip-up sight from the T15. So it's basically co-witness with the sight aligned right here. So you can use this sight or the iron sight, or you can take off this sight if you want. This sight is secured by thumb screws only, so you can take that off if you like. Okay, one more tactical feature. The magazine is the MRX curved mag. So they do not feed first strike, but I don't give a shit because I don't do first strike. So here we go. So I only need balls. So that's only a balls only magazine, MRX magazine. It looks way cool with the curved mags. Also, the hopper hole. You can cover it up with a plate or a tape, or you can leave it open so that from time to time, rotate. Now it's feeding from this hole and not your hopper. You can put one round of special ammo inside just to shoot one round of that and rotate it back to the magazine feeding. You see what I mean? So basically, if I'm shooting, let's say I'm for police or law enforcement, okay? They're shooting pepper balls. One magazine of pepper balls, and then they need to brick a window, so they need a glass bricking round, nylon ball, PVC round. They put one round in here from the hopper window, boom, one shot, and then twist the barrel, and then they're good to go again with the pepper balls. So basically, it actually is a very tactical, quick ammo change feature. So that's it for this MR5. I think it's really awesome right now. Basically, I do think it's a perfect setup. If anyone can come up with a little modification to make the mag release operate by the right hand, that would be great. But right now, it's still okay, you know. All the MR5 EMR is like that. You have to use this hand to take out the mag. Okay? So basically, that's how the gun looks right now. It's really awesome. And then, at last but not least, the EMR5. EMR5, there we go. EMR5, I didn't do the mod for hiding the hose because there's no way you can do it. That makes sense. The EMR5 is a sprayer, meaning that you have a lot of balls inside and you want to spray balls. So because of the electronic trigger and also the ability to fire in burst mode and full auto, you will not want this gun to just fire 9 rounds. With the normal magazine of 9 rounds, it acts more like a backup. So basically, I personally would say, okay, leave the mag here with 9 rounds of some special ammo, like for law enforcement, they would like to put 9 rounds of glass bricking rounds or whatever, just so that they can brick glass from time to time. And then on top, right here, we will put a, where's my hopper? There we go. We'll put a hopper here, electronic hopper. So this is the Tipman electronic hopper, very low budget one. Okay, so basically you snap the thing on like that. It's hard to do. Okay. There we go. Okay. So you snap on the hopper, and you have 200 rounds ongoing spraying on the onto your enemy. So basically, you have 200 rounds of pepper balls or whatever firing non-stop at the guy, like that. Okay. So you need a big tank of air, because if you don't, if you operate this by CO2, probably CO2 will die out very soon because it gets cold, freeze up, and you cannot shoot anymore. HPA is the way to go, and you need a big tank because you have to fire over 200 rounds. With a 13 CI, it's not going to do it. Right now, this gun is firing at about 16 to 17 kind of joules. So with that kind of power, if you use HPA, you need a bigger tank. And a 48 CI is totally ridiculously huge. This is a 35 CI tank from Ninja. So I think that is the great size in balance for capacity and also for the size. I think if we can find a 22 CI, that would be even better. But right now it's 35 CI, gives you a lot of shots. You can for sure empty a hopper and also a mag and still have air left. So here you can see some rail cover as well, because you want to hold the gun like that and not scratch your hand. Okay. Now what about the sights? Okay, for the sights we have a backup of a red laser. Okay, so a red laser for backup. So in case of close quarter combat, when you're not really like in a prone position on the ground, you have your laser. So when you go around the room, you can put the thing here and look at the red dot and then keep shooting with the laser, aiming at stuff. If you have time to aim, let me take this off. Okay, if you have time to aim, this is what I put. Tiberius T9.1 comes with the thing, riser rail. Okay, this thing is really bad on a lot of Tiberius guns because it's so bulky and the little rails here are not secured. So they eventually, with the vibration and stuff, these screws will get loosened up too. So it's not very practical for the Tiberius guns. But for this one, somehow it just works so well. What is good for is it gets your level, the eye level, higher up. And so you don't have to go like that to see the sight, okay? And also right here, if I put a dot sight on, the dot sight will be too big and block your hopper. Right here, okay? It will block the hopper. So what happened is I found a see all sight like that. Do a little bit of research on YouTube about what this is. Basically, it's like an iron sight. It operates on no battery, so you can aim without using any battery. You just need a little bit of light that goes in from the top, and you can see it right away. And the good thing is the hopper is not blocked or in the way of this sight, so you can freely see everything out there and also see all sight. So basically, there's a triangle in here. And where the triangle points is where your shot's going to land. And with that kind of setup right here, the spraying setup, you do not need precision. You only need to know, hey, about this kind of, like this range, this circle is where I want to spray my balls. So you look at there, and it's pointing around that spot. There you go, 200 rounds. Wow. So basically, I find that make a lot of sense to use a see all sight. There's not much point to use a red dot or scope, whatever, for this setup. Because the gun has a tank right here. The tank is very heavy, especially a 35 CI or even a 48 CI. It's very heavy. So with that weight on the back, if you don't have enough weight here on the front, your gun will be very imbalanced. Right now, when I hold it, the gun is pretty much balanced right here at the grip. If you have the hopper, it's going to lean a bit over there, but, well, you know, like, right now it's pretty much balanced at the grip right here. So when you hold it, it feels just right and not very heavy. If the gun is very heavy head, like the head here is very heavy, when you hold it, it will feel like the gun wants to tilt. If this is too heavy, your gun will go like that, and it feels very weird. So right now, it's just good enough for the weight distribution with a Tiberius mock suppressor, which is fully made of a chunk of metal, and it's very sturdy, adds weight to your gun, and totally distribute the weight. So right now when I hold it, even like this, it doesn't feel that the gun is super heavy at all. Whereas if I took this off, the gun will feel very heavy because of the tank. So right now, everything is very self-contained. Ammo, the tank, is all in one unit, and you don't need a remote coil hose, and you can operate the gun and fire all the balls you want, and then refill your tank and refill your balls together. So basically, this setup makes the most sense to me right now. As you can see, among all three, the MR5 looks the most realistic because you hide the hose and it looks really nice. But the EMR5 is a sprayer, and the Hammer 7 is a low budget pumper, so you can't really expect much. One thing to also know is that I set up the guns to the point where you can have one unit that contains everything you need and all you can do in one unit. Meaning that, okay, you have a 12 gram CO2 on the Spyder Hammer 7. One 12 gram can only fire 2 magazines. Okay, I put 2 magazines together and tape them together. So now, with just this unit, you can do all the things you can do. So you can shoot all the CO2 out while emptying the 2 mags. After that, you're done. Okay? You need to go and reload everything. With the Spyder EMR5, you have one tank right here that can allow you to empty this and also the hopper full of balls, and that's it. With the MR5, 2 CO2 in here gives you like 3 or 4 mags of shot. I cannot put 3 or 4 mags together, and so the best thing is just put 1 mag here and have spare mags on your belt. So basically, this one, it lacks a little bit of that kind of setup, but it's still fine because, you know, the whole thing really give a lot of points to the gun's realism right now. Anyway, so basically that's the review of the 3 Spyder guns and set up to what I think is the best so far. So if you have any comments, or you have a video of your Spyder guns, whatever, feel free to post it in the comment box below and share this video out, you know, with your friends and so on. Thank you for watching. Remember to subscribe and like. Bye bye.